How's it going, everybody? It's your boy Jose, aka the NYC Geek, aka TNG, aka your Elden Lord returned. Yours, you, right there behind the camera, yours, aka the guy who's finally back after 9, almost 10 long months, nearly a year. We're finally back. It has been a huge change in my life. There's been a lot of changes in my life, not just my background, which, as you can see, is vastly different, and I got room to stretch my legs out. Hold on, let me. Legs, my legs. I might put a little area rug back there. My wife has kept saying, put an area rug up, maybe. But yes, I finally have the room to stretch out my legs now. It's not before where I had a 7x7 space, which I tried to make as look as big as possible on camera, but it was tiny. It was tight. It was super tight. Yeah, massive fact. I no longer live in New York. I don't work for the city of New York anymore. I no longer live in the state of New York. I live several states away now. I'm in a extremely far more pleasant area, a place that I've been happy for the past year now, almost year, because we moved in January. The only downside has been my internet. I live somewhere very green, and I'm not quoting, Audrey from Little Shop of Horrors. I live somewhere very rural. There's a lot of farms near us. I live in a community. There's a neighborhood here, but we have farms around us. So there's no fiber. We rely on like a radio internet and satellite internet. But eventually we're hoping the infrastructure will get here. Keep your fingers crossed, hopefully someday. But it's enough for me to post videos again now that I've gotten settled. Let me just quickly show you guys. I just banged the hell out of my desk. Sorry about that. So over there, just to give you guys a small tour, I have my Forgotten Realms books from the different varied authors that have worked on the Forgotten Realms for decades. Not the collection is not complete by any stretch of the imagination. I hope to get more. That's one thing I love in this area. There's lots of used bookstores. I got some like board games that I have here. I have some figures, my disc plates. I got some pops behind me. Let me move to the side. Pops there. Then on this side, I've got my One Piece collection. My wife has a few of the figures upstairs, but I have the lion's share of them down here. We've got some One Piece figures. And over here, I'm putting, I would like to get more of my D book. I'm trying to get back my collection of 3rd edition books. That was my favorite Dungeons and Dragons system. And those rows are all Salvatore books, except for those small Piers Anthony. Those 2 rows are all R.A. Salvatore. I love R.A. Salvatore. He's my favorite author. And I'm going to put more box, like old 2nd edition stuff. But eventually, I would like to change the layout. I would like to, this is not going to be how everything's going to be set up. I'd like to put a camera. You can't see really well, but I have around another 8 feet each way. I have past the desk, which is like right here where my hand is, like right there. I have another 8 feet over there and another 8 around there. So I'd like to put a television there, maybe a table, a couch. I don't know. I got to figure something out. But I'd like to get some roundtable discussions with some of my friends down here. And I'd like to get a TV set up over there. But that's the channel's back. My layer here is ready for recording. I also would like to, I do apologize. I'm sorry if the audio's not the best, if it's not as crisp as it used to be. The room, like I said, is a lot bigger, so I'm probably going to have a little echo. I'm going to get some, like, the sliding acoustic panels to help absorb some of that so that I could just kind of slide them in when I need and then just slide them out when I'm done. That'll be one of the things that I hope to get. But that's the layout right now, and I hope you guys like it. I really do love it out here. You can't see it. I have a window that's up there, and I have some strays. We have like 4 strays that live here, and they love to peek their heads right there. So sometimes all I see is a little cat face mushed up against the window. But this is my layout. This will be where I'll be recording my videos. And as for the channel, I know, I have missed a lot of stuff. It's been a hell of a shit year. it's been a I mean, this since 2020 has been a shit year. But holy shit, the demise of Disney has not been far. I've been on Twitter constantly. I'll constantly post on Twitter, that's for sure now. I mean, the death of basically the death of Marvel, the death of Star Wars, the death of DC. You know, this whole joke that was the writer's strike and the actor's strike, which we went recently to Dragon Con, and that was ridiculous watching people just be like, oh, don't cosplay certain characters because you'll encourage the actor. You know, we're supporting the actors. Like, fuck off, dude. Fuck off. Tell me what to cosplay, okay? Don't tell me what to cosplay. You're not paying for my costume. You're not paying for my convention trip. Fucking actor strike and the writer strike. What a fucking joke. But I know I've missed a lot. We're back though. I will be discussing once more pop culture, movie reviews, game reviews, TV shows, all that stuff. I no longer have a 6-hour commute. It's only 20 minutes to get back to my job. So I'm ecstatic. I'm hoping I can even get back to live streaming eventually. Like I said, not sure about that because of my whole internet. I don't know. Maybe I can stream as long as it's not a game. You know, as long as I'm not trying to put out the bandwidth of playing something like Cyberpunk or Ark at the same time as I'm trying to chat on Twitch, or on YouTube. So we'll see that. We'll figure that out. That I might have to do with some friends and test out with them, and we'll see how that works out. But I'm excited. I'm excited to be back this Thursday. I can tell you, I already got tickets for the Marbles. So I will be putting up my thoughts on the Marbles. That's gonna be a real piece of shit. That movie. And I know there's a leak. I know there's a leak that's out there. I've tried my best to avoid as much as I can with the leak. I know some stuff, but I'm sure that the main villain is whatever this lady's name is. She's just gonna be your stereotypical a misunderstood female MCU villain. You know, they've done it constantly. Every single villain as of late has been if it's a female, if it's a man, it's that they could be the most evil motherfucker you want. Put them as evil as you want. But if it's a woman, oh, I don't know, she's got to be misunderstood. She's got to be like Crossbones or Echo or Scarlet Witch or Agatha or Shelby or whatever the fuck her name is from Loki, the female Loki, or the what do you call her? The lady who created all the Black Widows in the Black Widow movie. Like, they're all misunderstood villains. If you can't be evil if you're a woman, not 100% evil. Even and Freckle Jesus, the annoying character from Falcon and Winter Soldier, all misunderstood villains. Every single one of them. They're just, and I'm sure that this villain, it's going to be something where she has a misunderstanding with the Marvels, and that's why she dislikes them, and then by the end they'll redeem her. Some garbage like that. It's gonna be fucking terrible. That movie, that might be the biggest bomb for Marvel. And I'll put up another State of the Union kind of update on Marvel. I think the last time I did something like that was after, I mean, I did review She-Hulk and all this other garbage, but when I talked about it, I'm pretty sure it was after the Spider-Man movie, how I was just talking about how, like, Marvel just needs a strong villain. It needs a strong villain, and Kang is not that villain. It's not. The actor's, he's not a great actor. And he's not enough to carry the weight of the MCU phase 4 and 5 and 6 and whatever fucking phases we're getting to. I'll put up my thoughts on that. I'll put up my thoughts on Baldur's Gate 3 as well. That's another video that I want to compile. As you can see, like I said, the Forgotten Realms is a huge, huge part of my life. It's been a part of my life since I was a kid. It's what got me into Dungeons and Dragons. That was the first setting I ever played in when I was playing the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons 2nd Edition. I've been a massive, massive Forgotten Realms lore fan. And, you know, there's some good to that game. There's some good to Baldur's Gate 3. I think there's a lot of bad. I think there is a lot of bad. And I think that people, maybe they're not very familiar with Forgotten Realms, or they're not familiar with the Baldur's Gate series, or maybe they're not familiar with isometric RPGs. So they're just kind of, or they're just horny and they just love Astarion and they think that that's enough to make it a 10 out of 10 game. It's not. I don't think it's a bad game. I think it's a good game, but I don't think is it perfection? No, No, it's not a 10 out of 10. So I'll give my thoughts on that as well. I do. I know it's late, but whatever. I always want to give my thoughts on these kind of things. Like I said, that Baldur's Gate 2 is my favorite game of all time. Shadows of is, I think, the greatest game that's ever been created. And I know that that might be like, well, then you're putting, and you can remember, I spoke about this back in the Video Game Awards a few years back, where and I was talking about how my most anticipated game was for last year, because we were thinking it was going to come out last year, was Baldur's Gate 3. 100%. So I know that I'm holding it up to a high standard, the Baldur's Gate series, but so what? That's too bad. That's what you got to do with some properties. You got to hold them up to an actually high standards. I think this game kind of fell short of that, but it's still a fun, enjoyable game, especially the combat. But I don't want to get too deep in. If I lose, I'll get into a rant. This will be a 30-minute video when I really want to sit down and break it down further. But like I said, I'll talk about Baldur's Gate, the Marvels, the state of Marvel itself, the Marvels movie and the state of Marvel itself, and a couple other things. So look forward to it. Again, thank you guys. I'm sorry it took so long to really get back and put everything together. I appreciate you guys being patient for those that are still around. And if not, then, we'll restart this journey, and it's going to be a fun trip together. There's going to be so much to talk about. Thank you, as always, for your time. Truly, that is something that a lot of these big studios and big companies don't appreciate anymore. That's why I always tell you guys, your time is precious. It's precious to me. It should be precious to you, so don't waste it watching garbage. But thank you for spending it with me. Follow me on all the social media, Twitter and all that jazz. I'm very active on Twitter. I'm constantly on Twitter now. I lost myself to it. I get very mad. I get very toxic on it. I'm the first one to admit it. I don't give a fuck. I'll get toxic on it. Hit the damn like button on this video. Hit the dislike button. Hit all the buttons. Make sure to post a comment, though. I always say, please leave me a comment, because I do my absolute best to chat with every single one of you. I do my absolute best. You guys know that. If you look back at some of my older videos, I go through every comment, responding every single comment. I try to chat with every one of you. Hopefully, I can get out. Well, I will be getting out there's one of the cats right there. Right there. I'll post a picture on Twitter, but there's one right there. The one I think my wife calls that one Fred. But yeah, I will get Thursday. We'll have our Marvel review. I'm going to be watching about 5:45. So I will have that out that Thursday. And then this week, I want to get out my Baldur's Gate one as well. Actually, I think I'll stick with the Marvel, and I'll talk about Marvel, the State of the Union. I'll put my thoughts on Marvel, and really, if there's any hope for the MCU, which I don't think there really is. I don't know what the hell Disney can. I mean, I do know what Disney can do, but it's just, they've got to hit a huge reset button. I'm not sure they will be. But anyway, I'll put out my thoughts on all those things. Thank you guys as always. Please be safe out there. It's crazy. Take care of yourselves.